Hi guys, welcome to the first in a series of spring tutorials. Today we're going to do a warm coral makeup look. So just starting off with the Phycisians Formula Spotlight Primer. This is an illuminating primer that adds a glow to the face. I'm just using a paddle foundation brush to paint it onto the face. I mostly like using brushes for liquids instead of my fingers or sponges because it doesn't waste or absorb the product as much. And I get an even coverage. So just doing sheer layers and blending it out with the brush, and I'm going to apply this to the entire face, just using the leftovers down the neck as I also bring my foundation down there. So next I'm topping that with the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. This is really smoothing and hydrating, and I just take a small amount and blend it over any pores or texture, also over the cheeks, the nose, the forehead, around the mouth as well, and then afterwards I just press it into the skin. And I also take it under the eyes to smooth out the creases a bit. Next, I'm color correcting with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and this is in medium beige. This is a perfect correcting shade for brown skin from the drugstore, and I'm just dabbing that where I have darkness. I'm going to do a color correcting video soon to share the products that I love, and I love this shade, and it's the right shade to be an easy one step, especially when using under sheer foundations, because it's orange but not too orange. And I'm just using a damp sponge to blend that all out, and the nice thing is that it's a full coverage concealer, so it does a great job at correcting and also concealing. And using a sponge will soak up any excess product so it doesn't look cakey. Can almost just not wear any foundation here. So next I'm using the Loreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. I have been waiting for so long to try this because I'm trying to use up what I have before I buy more product, but I saw this on sale and I just couldn't wait anymore. So you always want to shake liquid products before applying, just pumping that onto my hand. And same thing as the primer, I'm just going to paint it on first to get an even coverage. You can see it's really sheer to start. So once it's on, I just use a sponge to press it into the skin and really blend it. And I'm working in sections so I can get a good blend before the foundation sets. And I'm trying to smooth it as much as possible with the brush before I use a sponge. And don't forget your ears as well, just to cover any redness. And laying it down over the nose. And when I get to the mouth area, I'm just patting the foundation on so I don't move the corrector underneath. And then just blend it with the sponge. And then whatever is left over at the end, I also just take it down the neck to make sure that my face matches the neck. You don't want any weird, like, dried foundation line. So now going in with the Too Faced Multi-Sculpting Concealer to conceal and highlight. I place it first where I need the most coverage, which is the inner corners and the grooves under my eyes, and then some on the lids. This is a hydrating and smoothing concealer, and it has really good coverage, so yeah, it's great if you have dry under eyes. And then I just grab some on the sponge and lightly press it over the center of the forehead and also over the nose and around the chin and mouth. So I'm just brightening and highlighting the center of my face. This shade is only slightly lighter than my foundation, so yeah, it's really not too stark. And then I just go ahead and smooth out the creases underneath my eyes, and I had my powder ready there using the Ben Nye banana powder, and just immediately press it with a damp sponge underneath the eyes to set that concealer. Something about using a damp sponge to press in powder, it really leaves a nice finish while setting the concealer. I just went and smoothed out the creases on the lids, and then I use a fluffy brush to just set the brow bone and crease of the lids. This is where I do all the blending, so I need to create a smooth surface for the eyeshadows. So I'm just pressing and buffing, and then I'm pressing in the powder with the sponge to the rest of the concealed areas. And then I just buff and remove any excess powder. Now to add depth to the face with the Benefit Hoola bronzer. This is a classic that I've been using since I discovered bronzers. So I'm just using a fluffy powder brush to lightly press it over the areas that I want to bronze. Once the stickiness from the foundation is gone, I just can go and buff and blend it out with the brush. I don't actually set my whole face with powder because my skin is kind of dry, and I like the foundation to look like its own texture where I can help it. And up on my forehead, the foundation is kind of set already, so it's easier to buff the bronzer. But working in very light layers so it doesn't look like an artificial shadow. And also hitting the chin and jawline and neck to bring evenness to the definition. Just using a smaller brush here to blend under the bottom of the lip, and this is the this is going to create the illusion of fullness, and also just defining the nose as well. Next for brows, I'm first brushing it out with a spoolie, and I'm using my e.l.f. Matte for Matte palette with the neutral dark brown shade. And I'm just using my Essence angled brush to carefully draw in hair strokes. This is my favorite brow brush right now because it's so thin and precise. I'm gonna speed this up because this is literally the same every time, and quite frankly it's the most tedious and boring part of makeup for me, but you know, I don't have naturally full brows, so this is my dilemma. I'll make a brow tutorial video for you guys in the future if you want an in-depth look. So back to the face, I'm using the MAC Mineralize highlight in Global Glow. I love this formula so much because it creates a smooth highlight without intense shimmer, and it doesn't look dry. So I'm using a medium fluffy brush here and just lightly sweeping that over the tops of the cheekbones. I'm trying not to bring it down over the cheeks or where I bronzed because I want the light to catch it when I turn instead of looking shiny everywhere. Just a little over the cupid's bow because it's pretty. And now using the Maybelline Master Chrome highlight in Molten Gold, I'm just using a dense shadow brush here to pat it onto the lid. Remember that we didn't set that area with powder, so the shimmer is really gonna stick and show up more. This is the most amazing gold highlight, and I love using this as shadow because it's not as weirdly yellow as some other golds I've used. So just dragging that under the lower lid. And then next for the inner corners, I'm using the Ofra Rodeo Drive highlighter. It's similar, but it's much lighter than the Molten Gold. And then just under the brow bones as well. And then here with a fluffy brush, I take the Hoola bronzer just to define the crease. Good old windshield wiper motion through the creases. Also on the lower lids as well. Now for the real fun, I'm taking this coral shade from the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush palette onto the same fluffy brush, and I'm just taking that over the crease again. And I'm using light layers to build this up, so this way it's easier to blend and avoid patchiness. And then you want to just blend it down on the outer corner as well. Just connecting it to the lower lid. And same thing on the bottom lids. And here I'm using a smaller brush just to concentrate the color a bit more. Now I'm using that same brown that I used for the brows on an angled brush and patting that onto the lash line. I'm just lightly smoking that out and creating a slight wing at the end as well. Also defining the outer bit of the lower lash lines. I can't say enough what a difference it makes to the eyes to curl the lashes. It really does lift the eyes when you've used mascara. So before mascara, I'm going to apply the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara Primer. This works the same way as the classic Voluminous Mascara, so it creates a perfectly feathered base for any mascara that you use after. And it's particularly good if you have a mascara that you're not too fond of but want to enjoy more. So today I'm using the Covergirl Exhibitionist Mascara. I like this one, but it's a little bit tricky because it dries fast and can end up looking clumpy, which is why I love using it over the primer. And to be honest, I think the L'Oreal Lash Paradise is way better on its own than this mascara, but I'm just trying to use up what I have before I buy another one. Stupid mascara face. So pretty. Now I'm going back to that same coral blush and using a fluffy blush brush just to lightly tap into the product and then pressing that onto the apples of the cheeks. Emphasis on light layers because this palette is very pigmented and you really want to control the blend. So pat and then slowly blend over the bronzer and highlight. I like the colors to all mesh in together. And then just a little over the temples and chin and neck, because why not? So for the lips, I'm starting with my Annabelle brow liner just to contour and define the shape. This is a really easy way to get a neutral contour for the lips. And I'm just overdrawing the bottom lip. For the top lip, I stay to my natural lip line, and then I blend it out with my finger. Next, I'm topping that with the NYX liner in brown. Same deal, but this ensures that the contour doesn't look too gray. So it's a bit of a warmer brown and it's closer to my natural undertones. Then I'm filling in the lips with the NYX nude beige liner. And this is just creating a neutral base. I don't exactly have a coral color, so I'm just mixing things up a bit today. I'm topping that with the Maybelline Beige Babe lipstick, which is also nude, but bear with me. I'm just trying to get that creamy texture first. And for my final trick, I'm taking that coral blush and just pressing that onto the lips with a fluffy brush. One of my favorite things to do is to use blush to top my lipstick so that all the tones match on my face, and it's a really good way to customize lip colors. And you can use eyeshadows as well if you like. And then I'm just defining back where I need to with that NYX brown liner. And that's the end of the look. It's coral, but still natural and fresh. I would say that that's the end, but I really want to amp up the coral tone, so I'm taking my Milani Rose Doro blush, which is a beautiful glowy coral, and just intensifying everything. Going over the lips. And I'm also going to top the gold on the lid and cover the whole lid with this color. Listen, I just want more of this color. And then also just running the hoola through the crease to deepen it more. And that's the final look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions or comments, leave that down below and subscribe if you want to see more videos. See you soon. Bye.